we had it ready to be released as another project. And we were trying to think of a name for the group. And the interesting thing is, when we used the word the Ukrainians, Ukraine didn't exist as an independent country. So when we put the album together, the Ukrainians, that was quite a radical, revolutionary thing to do. It's like saying, here are a people called the Ukrainians, we exist. And just as soon as we released the album, a few days later, Ukraine declared independence. So I think we did it.
Yeah.
I think we did it, definitely.
My name's Len, and I play fiddle and sing in the Ukrainians. Just had to remember then for a second. So this is Peter. He plays guitar and mandolin and vocals as well. Woody's the drummer and percussionist, supreme. Jim, our bass player. Paul, mandolin. And Steph is our accordion player, but he's still on the motorway. So he's not here yet, but he's on his way. But one characteristic about Steph is that he's always late.
One of the phrases we always say is,
Where's Steph? Do we know who we're going to talk about then? Okay.
My father's Ukrainian, in a village called Havrilyak near Kolomia, which is just north of Ivano-Frankivsk. And in 1941, when the Germans came, he was with a group of people who were taken, if you like, to go and work in Germany during the war. And he spent the war in Germany. At the end of the war, he was there for another 2 years. I think he had the option of coming back to Ukraine, but no. He even said to me that working in Germany with an ID card that said Untermensch on it, subhuman basically. That's what he was there. He said even working in Germany in ration conditions with that card was a better life than on his farm in Ukraine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, I've got to do this.
7, 8.
And if that's loud enough.
My background is English and Irish. At my secondary school, I got the option to learn Russian. I continued that at university at Leeds, and while I was there, I also studied Czech. So I had a background in 2 Slavonic languages. The idea of singing songs in Ukrainian and learning the language of Ukrainian really interested me.
It's not good, that.
Right. Are we ready?
Well, I don't know. Try it. Try it.
Okay.
The place that I grew up had a very, very small Ukrainian community, about 5 or 10 families. And when I was young, only for about 2 or 3 years, my father was involved in running the club. And like all Ukrainian clubs in the West, you have a Saturday morning school and they teach you to dance and sing. But I never learnt to do any of them, really. I didn't like it, I hated it. And all my other friends were out playing football and going swimming out to go to Ukrainian Saturday school. I hated it. But the one thing I did remember was just the music. I loved the music. Even as a kid, I just remembered the tunes. And that's the bit that stayed with me. Not the language, not the dancing, just the music.
We don't try to be Ukrainian. We don't try to be British. We are a mixture, a natural mixture of those two things.
There were people playing rock music, but they were copying the West. And we couldn't really find any bands that would actually use Ukrainian roots music and rock together.
Шукав я роботу, залишив свою сім'ю, а нічого Буденний, який вів на собак, є сині, це цікаві темні, гей, сині.
Why are you singing in Ukrainian? Sing in English, you'll make far more money.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
Чому не... That's what it says there, that's what it says.
Yeah.
Чому не відписали? Oh no, відписали.
If only we'd known this before we recorded it, that would have been...
Yeah, where were you? Where were you? Does it still make sense though?
Not really.
Len?
Yeah.
It's your specialist area.
Чому ви написали? It means why you didn't
Why you didn't write, yeah. We know why you didn't write.
But never, it's like...
Yeah. I think that's part of the appeal, is that, you know, the sound of the Ukrainian language for us, I think, is because it's not the language that we speak every day, it's special, it's exotic, and it sounds very poetic.
Чи знаєш ти, де моя родина? Я приїхав тут здалека по краю, щоб побачити село моє, щоб побачити мою країну, щоб побачити село моє, щоб побачити мою країну.
And when we started to play together, we got to know some people at the local Ukrainian club in Bradford, which is about 10 miles from Leeds, where the band started. And they were very helpful to us. We used to go to the club, they would allow us to rehearse there. But also they had a video and audio archive there with lots of recordings on cassette of Ukrainian bands.
Yeah.
Ukrainian bands from England and from Canada.
Yeah, definitely.
That they collected, and they shared them with us.
Mm. But as well as that, it wasn't just playing things that we were trying to learn. It was actually we started writing our own material, because we thought, these are nice songs, but you know what, we can improve on this, we can make it a bit better. And so that's what we started. It was true, innit? That's what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did do that, make it a bit better.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
what's he doing?
Hello!
Oh, for God's sake. Steph, we're in the middle
We're
of
in the
an
middle of an
interview.
interview, Steph.
No,
It's not Steph, it's Ivan Panenka. Go on, mate.
Візьму від неї, візьму я чорну землю, землю рідну, чорну землю з України. Вже знаю я, чому він виписали. Я вже знаю, а хотіли ще не знати. Бо мені буде пригадати, як я сиротою залишився. Бо мені буде пригадати, як я сиротою залишився.
So we've played in France, Spain, Portugal,
Yeah, we have.
Austria, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium.
We played in Italy.
Yeah, played in Milan.
Oh yeah, we did.
And
Switzerland. Monaco.
Poland.
Definitely played in Poland.
Belarus.
We haven't done Denmark, have we?
Belarus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and USA.
Ukraine.
And
Played in Ukraine.
Oh yeah, Ukraine. Yeah, I forgot Ukraine.
Played in Ukraine. You forgot Ukraine.
USA and Canada.
Yeah.
And I
They
think
won't believe us now. I think we've made this up.
yeah. Oh god. Ukraine, we're sorry.
Very sorry. Right, the first thing is, the first time we went to Ukraine in 1993, we played a tour with VV. You know the group, don't you? VV. And we just travelled around with them, did about 7 or 8 shows. The thing that got me most was, I imagine when you grow up in the West, what you're surrounded by is Ukrainian folk music, Ukrainian national dress, because that's how you're told to identify with it. And when we went to Ukraine, there was very little of that at all. I thought there'd be loads of it everywhere, because it's Ukraine. Why aren't they singing all the songs? Why aren't they got beautiful sorochkas on? That's just my stereotype, what I thought people, that's what I grew up with. Just ordinary people. It's only the people who are really into that would do that.
Yeah, and that's because the diaspora in Britain
focuses on that.
Preserved
that culture.
The culture when they came over in the 1940s or whatever.
Well, in some cultures go back to the 1900s in North America.
Yeah, first wave, second wave.
Yeah.
And they came over and they brought the culture and they wanted to keep it alive with their children. So the dances and the language was taught. But of course it was in aspic. It was
frozen.
It was frozen in time.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready? What are we doing?
Budmore. Budmore. She drank the Budvars, we're doing Budmore.
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 There's no R on the end, it's just more.
Budmore.
In Ukraine at that time, in 1993, it wasn't cool to be Ukrainian. Most people didn't have that strong identity. And one of the things that I remember the reaction to our music was 2 things. One was people used to say to us, that music, I like that. My grandmother used to sing those songs. We were helping to bring that thing to life. And then other people would say, you lot speak like my grandmother, because you're preserving those bits of language which had been changed, because language always changes. Every generation, people have a different way of saying things. And we'd had that grandmother's language, and that's what we were learning, and that's what we were writing in our songs. So those are the 2 things I remember most.
So we were singing like a bunch of babas, is what you're saying, is it?
Yeah. A bunch of old ladies, we were singing like a bunch of old ladies with electric guitars. That's a great image, that.
Yeah.
We should have thought of that.
That's the next album cover.
Next album, yeah. Next album cover.
Yeah.
Rozbiehajcie chłopcy, koni, talia, hajte spodziewać, a ja piru, zak wyśniewi, zak wyjdzie do nas. A ja piru, zak wyśniewi, zak wyjdzie do nas.
What is Ukraine? Yeah, it's like an emotional, spiritual home for me. Even though I don't speak the language very well and I don't know all the music and all the culture, it's like a little place of comfort and appreciation and warmth and inspiration. If ever I feel I feel a bit down sometimes, or not as positive as I like to, I put Ukrainian music records on.